The vastness of space stretched out before them, a canvas of glittering stars and swirling galaxies. For years, the crew of the exploratory vessel Horizon had traversed the cosmic expanse, driven by an unquenchable thirst for discovery. Today, their perseverance would be rewarded in ways they could scarcely imagine. Captain Samantha Briggs gazed intently at the holographic display, her brow furrowed in concentration. The scanners had detected an anomaly, a faint energy signature unlike anything they had encountered before. "Full speed ahead, helm," she commanded, her voice laced with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The Horizon surged forward, its sleek, silver-gray hull cutting through the void. As they drew closer, the energy signature grew stronger, pulsing with a strange, rhythmic cadence. Samantha felt a tingle of anticipation coursing through her veins. "We're approaching the source, Captain," reported Lieutenant Takeshi Nakamura, the ship's navigation officer. "Readings indicate it's emanating from a previously uncharted planetoid." Samantha nodded, her gaze fixed on the view screen. "Initiate a full spectrum scan. I want to know everything there is to know about that planetoid." The Horizon's advanced sensors swept over the small rocky world, relaying a wealth of data back to the bridge. Samantha and her crew pored over the readings, their eyes widening with each passing moment. "Impossible," breathed Dr. Elisa Mendoza, the ship's chief scientist. "The energy signature is unlike anything we've ever seen. It's as if the very fabric of space-time is being distorted." Samantha felt a chill run down her spine. "Can you pinpoint the source?" Eliza's fingers danced across the console, her brow furrowed in concentration. "There," she said, pointing to a particular region on the planetoid's surface. "That's where the energy signature is emanating from." "Prepare a landing party," Samantha ordered, her voice resolute. "I want to know what's down there." The Horizon's sleek shuttle descended towards the planetoid, its thrusters firing gently to ease it onto the rocky surface. Samantha, Takeshi, Eliza, and a team of specialized scientists and security personnel stepped out, their eyes scanning the alien landscape. "This place," Takeshi murmured, "it feels wrong somehow." Samantha couldn't help but agree. The air seemed to hum with a strange, unsettling energy, and the very ground beneath their feet seemed to vibrate ever so slightly. She gripped her sidearm tighter, her senses on high alert. "The energy signature is emanating from that structure," Eliza said, pointing to a towering, pyramidal edifice in the distance. "We need to investigate." The team made their way towards the mysterious structure, their footsteps echoing across the barren landscape. As they drew closer, Samantha couldn't help but feel a sense of awe and trepidation. The pyramid seemed to be constructed of a material unlike anything she had ever seen, a strange, shimmering alloy that seemed to bend and distort the light around it. Reaching the base of the structure, Eliza ran her hand along the smooth surface, her eyes narrowed in concentration. "There's an energy field surrounding it," she murmured, "and it's pulsing in time with the energy signature we detected from orbit." Samantha took a deep breath, steeling her nerves. "All right, let's see what's inside." The team cautiously approached the base of the pyramid, searching for an entrance. After a few moments, Takeshi let out a triumphant cry. "Over here. I've found a way in." Samantha and the others hurried to his position, where a faint seam in the pyramid surface had been revealed. Takeshi pressed his hand against it, and with a rumble, a section of the structure slid open, revealing a dark, yawning passageway. "After you, Captain," Takeshi said, gesturing for Samantha to lead the way. Samantha took a deep breath, then stepped forward, her team close behind. As she crossed the threshold, a strange tingling sensation washed over her, and she felt a surge of energy coursing through her body. The passageway was illuminated by a soft, otherworldly glow, casting eerie shadows on the walls. "What is this place?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. Eliza's eyes were wide with wonder. "I don't know, but I intend to find out." The team pressed forward, their footsteps echoing in the cavernous space. As they rounded a corner, Samantha's breath caught in her throat. Before them, nestled in the center of the pyramid, was a device unlike anything she had ever seen. A shimmering, multifaceted structure, pulsing with a strange, hypnotic energy. "By all the stars, take," she breathed, his voice tinged with awe. Samantha felt a surge of excitement and trepidation. Whatever this device was, it held the key to unlocking the secrets of this mysterious planetoid. And with that knowledge, the very course of human history could be forever altered. The crew of the Horizon stood in awe, their eyes transfixed by the mysterious device at the heart of the ancient pyramid. Captain Samantha Briggs felt a surge of excitement and trepidation coursing through her veins. Whatever this strange, multifaceted structure was, it was clear that it held the key to unlocking the secrets of this remarkable discovery. "Sensors are picking up an incredible amount of energy emanating from that device," reported Lieutenant Takeshi Nakamura, his voice tinged with wonder. "I've never seen anything like it." Samantha turned to the ship's chief scientist, Dr. Elisa Mendoza. "Can you make sense of what we're looking at?" she asked, her gaze searching the woman's face for any clues. Eliza's brow was furrowed in concentration as she studied the device, her fingers flying across the console of her portable scanner. "The energy signature is unlike anything I've ever encountered," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's as if the very fabric of space-time is being distorted." Samantha's eyes widened. "Distorted? What do you mean?" "I'm not entirely sure," Eliza admitted, her gaze never leaving the device. "But the reading suggests that this structure is somehow capable of interacting with dimensions beyond our own. It's almost as if it's a gateway to another realm of existence." Takeshi let out a low whistle. "Another realm, huh? Well, that certainly explains why this place feels so off." Samantha nodded, her mind racing with the implications of Eliza's findings. "Can we activate it? See what it's capable of?" Eliza hesitated, her expression suddenly uncertain. I'm not sure that's a wise idea, Captain. We don't know what kind of power we're dealing with here. Tampering with it could have catastrophic consequences." Samantha considered her words, her jaw tightening. "We've come too far to turn back now, Doctor. If this device truly holds the key to unlocking the secrets of the universe, then we have a responsibility to explore it, to understand it." Eliza opened her mouth to protest, but Samantha raised a hand, silencing her. "I know the risks, believe me. But this discovery could change the course of human history. We have to at least try." With a resigned sigh, Eliza nodded. "Very well, Captain. But I want a full security detail with us, just in case." Samantha turned to Takeshi, her expression grim. "Assemble the team, Lieutenant. We're going to see what this device is capable of." The crew of the Horizon gathered around the mysterious structure, their eyes gleaming with a mixture of trepidation and excitement. Eliza positioned her scanner, her fingers dancing across the controls. "All right, here goes nothing," she murmured, taking a deep breath. With a gentle touch, she activated the device, and the chamber was instantly flooded with a blinding, multicolored light. The crew shielded their eyes, the air crackling with energy. Suddenly, a strange, pulsing sensation washed over them, and Samantha felt as if the very fabric of her being was being stretched and distorted. She gasped, her lungs burning, as a kaleidoscope of images and sensations assaulted her senses. Time seemed to slow to a crawl, and Samantha could hear the beating of her own heart, the rush of her blood, the whisper of her breath. And then, in the blink of an eye, it was all over. Samantha blinked, her vision slowly clearing. The device had gone dark, and the chamber was once again bathed in the eerie glow of the pyramid's interior. What just happened?" she asked, her voice trembling. Eliza's face was pale, her eyes wide with awe and terror. I'm not entirely sure," she admitted. "The energy spike was off the charts, but it was only for an instant. I need to analyze the data, but..." She trailed off, her gaze fixed on the device. Samantha followed her line of sight, and her breath caught in her throat. The device was pulsing with a strange rhythmic energy, its facets shifting and twisting in a mesmerizing dance. And as Samantha watched, she felt a strange, tingling sensation coursing through her body, as if the very atoms that made up her being were resonating with the device's power. "This is incredible," Eliza breathed, her fingers flying across the console. "The device is somehow interacting with the very fabric of reality, distorting space-time in ways I never thought possible." Samantha felt a surge of excitement and trepidation. "What are the implications of this discovery, Doctor?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Eliza met her gaze, her expression grave. "I'm not sure, Captain. But one thing is certain. The course of human history is about to change. Forever." The crew of the Horizon stood in awe, their eyes fixed on the pulsing, multifaceted device at the heart of the ancient pyramid. Captain Samantha Briggs felt a mixture of excitement and trepidation as the implications of their discovery began to sink in. "We need to run a full suite of tests on this device," Eliza Mendoza, the ship's chief scientist, said, her fingers dancing across the console of her portable scanner. "The energy signatures it's emitting are unlike anything I've ever seen. It's as if it's interacting with dimensions beyond our own." Samantha nodded, her brow furrowed in concentration. "Do it, Doctor. And be careful. We don't know the full extent of what this thing is capable of." Eliza hesitated for a moment, her gaze darting towards the device. "Captain, I must caution you. Tampering with this kind of power could have catastrophic consequences. We need to proceed with the utmost care and diligence." Samantha sighed, her expression grave. "I understand the risks, Eliza, but this discovery has the potential to change the course of human history. We have to explore it, to understand it, no matter the cost." Eliza nodded reluctantly, turning her attention back to her scanner. "Very well, Captain. I'll begin the initial tests, but I want a full security detail standing by, just in case." Samantha turned to Lieutenant Takeshi Nakamura, the ship's navigation officer. "Takeshi, have the team set up a perimeter around the device. I want to make sure we're prepared for anything." Takeshi saluted sharply. "Aye, Captain. I'll get it done." As the security team spread out, Eliza began running a series of scans and tests on the mysterious device. The air crackled with energy, and the chamber was bathed in a mesmerizing interplay of light and shadow. Suddenly, the device began to pulse with a strange rhythmic energy, its facets shifting and twisting in a hypnotic dance. Eliza's eyes widened, and she let out a sharp gasp. "Captain, the energy output just spiked. I'm detecting distortions in the fabric of space-time." Samantha felt a chill run down her spine. "What's happening, Doctor?" "I'm not entirely sure," Eliza admitted, her fingers flying across the console. "But the device seems to be somehow interacting with the very structure of reality itself. The readings are off the charts." As Eliza spoke, the air in the chamber began to shimmer and distort, as if reality itself was being reshaped by the device's power. Samantha felt a strange, tingling sensation wash over her, and she could hear the crackle of energy in the air. Suddenly, a blinding flash of light filled the chamber, and Samantha felt as if the very ground beneath her feet had been pulled out from under her. She staggered, her vision blurring, as a strange, disorienting sensation washed over her. And then, as quickly as it had begun, the distortion vanished, leaving the crew of the Horizon standing in stunned silence. Eliza's face was pale, her eyes wide with awe and terror. "Captain, I don't even know how to begin describing what just happened." Samantha felt a surge of trepidation. "Try, Eliza. We need to understand the full extent of what this device is capable of." Eliza took a deep breath, her gaze fixed on the pulsing device. The energy output, it was off the charts. The device somehow managed to distort the very fabric of space-time, creating a rift or a gateway of sorts. "I detected fluctuations in the gravitational field, shifts in the flow of time, and even changes in the fundamental laws of physics. Samantha felt a chill run down her spine. What are the implications of this, Doctor? Eliza's expression was grave. The implications are staggering, Captain. This device, it has the potential to rewrite the very rules of the universe. If we can harness its power, the possibilities are truly limitless. But if it falls into the wrong hands... Samantha nodded, her jaw tightening. I understand. We need to proceed with the utmost caution. Inform the rest of the crew, and have them begin preparations for a full-scale study of this device. I want to know everything about it, inside and out. Eliza saluted sharply. Aye, Captain. I'll get started right away. As Eliza hurried off to relay the orders, Samantha turned her gaze back towards the pulsing device, her mind racing with the implications of their discovery. The course of human history had been forever altered, and she knew that the decisions they made in the days and weeks ahead would have profound consequences, not just for their own species, but for the entire galaxy. The news of the Horizon's incredible discovery had spread through the galaxy like wildfire. From the bustling trade hubs of the Andromeda Cluster to the ancient homeworlds of the Xeno Alliance, the tale of the human explorers and their encounter with the mysterious seventh-dimensional device captivated the collective imagination of countless alien civilizations. Captain Samantha Briggs stood on the bridge of the Horizon, her gaze fixed on the holographic display that hovered before her. Dozens of icons representing the various factions and power blocks of the known galaxy blinked and flickered, each one jockeying for position, each one vying for a piece of the remarkable discovery. The diplomatic channels are being flooded with communiques, Captain, Lieutenant Takeshi Nakamura reported, his fingers dancing across the console. Every major power in the galaxy is demanding an audience, and they all seem to have a different agenda. Samantha nodded grimly. I've read the reports, Takeshi. It seems everyone from the Xeno Alliance to the Consortium of Independent Worlds is scrambling to get their hands on this device. They all want to understand its power, to harness it for their own ends. Takeshi's brow furrowed. And what of the Horizon's crew? What do they make of all this? Samantha sighed, her expression weary. They're divided, Takeshi. Some see the device as a means to advance humanity's position in the galactic community, to elevate our species to new heights. Others are terrified of the consequences, of the potential for misuse and destruction. She paused, her gaze drifting towards the holographic display. And then there are those who simply want to understand it, to unravel the mysteries of the seventh dimension. They see this as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to expand the boundaries of human knowledge. Takeshi nodded, his expression thoughtful. It's a lot to process, that's for sure. And the rest of the galaxy isn't making it any easier, are they? Samantha shook her head. No, they're not. The diplomatic pressure is mounting, Takeshi. Every faction has its own demands, its own vision for the future, and they're all willing to go to great lengths to see it realized. She turned to face her friend and trusted officer, her eyes steely with determination. We need to tread carefully, Takeshi. This discovery has the potential to change the course of human history, for better or for worse. We can't afford to make any missteps. Takeshi saluted sharply. Understood, Captain. I'll have the security team on high alert, and I'll coordinate with Eliza to ensure the device is under constant surveillance. Samantha nodded, her expression softening. Good. And Takeshi? Yes, Captain. Be prepared for anything. These aliens may be our allies, but they're also fiercely competitive. They'll stop at nothing to get what they want. Takeshi's eyes narrowed. Noted, Captain. We'll be ready. As Takeshi hurried off to carry out his orders, Samantha turned her attention back to the holographic display, her mind racing with the implications of their discovery. The galaxy was on the brink of a new era, one that could either bring untold prosperity and cooperation, or plunge it into a devastating conflict the likes of which had never been seen before. The fate of humanity, and of the entire galactic community, now rested squarely on the shoulders of the Horizon's crew. and Samantha knew that the decisions they made in the days and weeks ahead would echo through the ages, shaping the course of history for generations to come. The galaxy had been thrown into a state of feverish activity in the wake of the Horizon's discovery. Alien civilizations from across the cosmos, driven by a mix of curiosity, ambition, and outright desperation, launched frantic searches for any trace of the elusive seventh-dimensional technology. Captain Samantha Briggs watched with a growing sense of unease as the diplomatic channels hummed with a cacophony of demands, threats, and offers of trade and alliance. The fate of the device and the future of the entire galactic community hung in the balance. "The activity is unprecedented, Captain," Takeshi Nakamura reported, his expression grim. "Every major power in the galaxy is mobilizing their resources, scouring the stars for any clue that might lead them to this seventh-dimensional device." Samantha nodded, her brow furrowed in concentration. "And what of our own position, Lieutenant? Surely the Horizon's crew isn't the only one aware of the device's location." Takeshi's jaw tightened. "I'm afraid not, Captain. Our discovery has been detected by several rival factions, and they're already making moves to claim the device for themselves." Samantha felt a chill run down her spine. "How much time do we have?" "Not much, by the looks of it," Takeshi replied, his fingers dancing across the console. "Our sensors have detected several heavily armed vessels on an intercept course with the planetoid. We're talking about some of the most advanced military technologies in the known galaxy." Samantha's expression hardened. "Prepare the Horizon for battle, Lieutenant. I want every weapon and defensive system we have online and ready to go." Takeshi saluted sharply. "Aye, Captain. I'll make the necessary arrangements." As Takeshi hurried off to carry out his orders, Samantha turned her attention to the holographic display, her mind racing with the implications of the situation. The Horizon and its crew were vastly outmatched in terms of firepower and resources, but she knew that they couldn't afford to back down. The fate of the seventh-dimensional device, and perhaps the entire galaxy, rested squarely on their shoulders. Suddenly, a chime from the comm system drew Samantha's attention. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission from one of the approaching vessels." Samantha took a deep breath, her expression steely. "Patch it through, Lieutenant." The familiar visage of Kordak, the ruthless leader of the consortium of independent worlds, filled the view screen. "Greetings, Captain Briggs," he said, his voice dripping with false cordiality. "I'm afraid I have some unfortunate news for you and your crew." Samantha felt a surge of hatred, but she kept her expression neutral. "And what would that be, Kordak?" Kordak's lips curled into a sneer. "The seventh-dimensional device you've discovered is a matter of galactic security. As such, it is now the property of the consortium. I suggest you and your crew surrender immediately or face the consequences." Samantha's jaw tightened. "I'm afraid that's not going to happen, Kordak. The Horizon and its crew have been entrusted with the safekeeping of this device, and we have no intention of handing it over to the likes of you." Kordak's eyes narrowed. "Then you leave me no choice, Captain. Prepare to be boarded." The transmission cut out, and Samantha felt a surge of adrenaline coursing through her veins. "All hands, battle stations," she barked into the comm system. "We're about to have some uninvited guests." The Horizon's crew sprang into action, their faces grim but determined. Samantha watched as the approaching vessels grew closer, their weapons systems powering up. She knew that the odds of their survival were slim, but she also knew that they couldn't afford to fail. "Takeshi, status report," she called out, her voice level. "Shields at maximum, Captain," Takeshi replied, his fingers flying across the console. "Weapon systems are online and ready to engage." Samantha took a deep breath, her gaze fixed on the view screen. "Then let's show these aliens what the Horizon and its crew are made of." As the first volley of enemy fire streaked towards the Horizon, Samantha steeled herself for the battle ahead. The fate of the seventh-dimensional device, and perhaps the entire galaxy, rested on their shoulders. and she had no intention of letting it fall into the wrong hands. The battle raged on, the Horizon's crew fighting tooth and nail to defend their precious discovery from the clutches of the consortium of independent worlds. Laser fire crisscrossed the void, the ships trading blows in a desperate struggle for control of the seventh-dimensional device. Captain Samantha Briggs gripped the arms of her chair, her knuckles white with the strain. "Status report, Lieutenant Nakamura." Takeshi's fingers danced across the console, his brow furrowed in concentration. "Shields are holding, but they won't last much longer. We need to find a way to turn the tide of this battle." Samantha's gaze drifted towards the holographic display, where the device's pulsing energy signature flickered and danced. "Dr. Mendoza, what can you tell me about the device's capabilities?" Eliza's eyes were wide with a mixture of awe and terror. "Captain, the more I study it, the more I realize just how profound its power truly is. The device is able to manipulate the very fabric of space-time, bending the laws of physics to its will." Samantha felt a glimmer of hope. "Can we use that to our advantage?" Eliza's expression turned pensive. "It's possible, but the risks are staggering. If we mishandle the device, even slightly, the consequences could be catastrophic." Another barrage of enemy fire rocked the horizon, jarring Samantha in her seat. "We don't have a choice, Doctor. We need to find a way to turn the tide of this battle, or we'll all be dead." Eliza hesitated for a moment, then steeled her resolve. "Very well, Captain. I'll do what I can." Hurrying to the device's control console, Eliza began inputting a series of commands, her fingers flying across the holographic display. The device's pulsing energy grew stronger, the air in the chamber crackling with power. Suddenly, a burst of energy erupted from the device, lancing out towards the enemy ships. Samantha watched in awe as the energy wave distorted the very fabric of space, bending and warping the vessels as if they were mere playthings. What just happened?" Takeshi asked, his voice tinged with disbelief. "I found a way to harness the device's power," Eliza reported, her eyes shining with a mix of triumph and trepidation. "By manipulating the seventh-dimensional energies, I was able to create a localized distortion field that disrupted the enemy's systems." Samantha's expression hardened. "Can you do it again?" Eliza nodded, her fingers already moving across the console. "Yes, Captain, but the strain on the device is immense. We can't sustain this kind of power output for long." Samantha's gaze drifted towards the view screen, where the enemy vessels were already regrouping. "Then make it count, Doctor. The fate of the galaxy may rest on our shoulders." Eliza took a deep breath, then unleashed another powerful burst of energy from the device. This time, the distortion field was even more pronounced, the enemy ships twisting and warping as if they were caught in the grip of a cosmic maelstrom. The battle raged on, the Horizon's crew fighting with renewed vigor as they harnessed the power of the seventh-dimensional device. Samantha watched in awe as they turned the tide, holding the enemy at bay and buying precious time to study the device further. "Captain, we're gaining the upper hand," Takeshi reported, his voice tinged with exhilaration. "The enemy systems are in disarray, and their coordination is breaking down." Samantha allowed herself a rare smile. "Excellent work, Lieutenant. Keep it up." As the battle continued, Eliza and her team of scientists delved deeper into the secrets of the seventh-dimensional device. They discovered that its power extended far beyond mere defensive capabilities, unlocking the potential for revolutionary breakthroughs in fields ranging from interstellar travel to terraforming. "The implications of this discovery are staggering, Captain," Eliza said, her expression grave. "With the proper understanding and control of the seventh-dimensional energies, we could reshape the very fabric of the galaxy." Samantha nodded, her mind racing with the possibilities. "Then we must proceed with the utmost caution, Doctor. The power we hold in our hands is unlike anything the galaxy has ever seen. We cannot afford to misuse it, or the consequences could be catastrophic." Eliza's gaze hardened. "Understood, Captain. We'll continue our research, but I'll make sure we're prepared for any eventuality." As the battle raged on, Samantha knew that the fate of the Horizon and its crew was inextricably linked to the fate of the seventh dimensional device. They had unlocked a power that could change the course of history, and they would have to be ready to wield it with wisdom and restraint. The future of the galaxy hung in the balance, and the Horizon's crew would have to be the ones to shape it. The news of the Horizon's remarkable discovery had spread like wildfire through the galaxy, captivating the collective imagination of countless alien civilizations. But with that discovery came great responsibility, and Captain Samantha Briggs knew that the decisions she and her crew made in the days to come would echo through the ages. As the Horizon's crew continued to study the seventh dimensional device, delving deeper into the secrets of its power, Samantha found herself at the center of a diplomatic maelstrom. Representatives from the major factions of the known galaxy had been summoned to a historic meeting, each one jockeying for position, each one vying for a piece of the remarkable technology. The diplomatic channels are buzzing, Captain. Lieutenant Takeshi Nakamura reported, his brow furrowed in concentration. Every major power is demanding an audience, and they all have their own agenda. Samantha nodded, her expression grave. I suspected as much. Have you been able to determine the nature of their demands? Takeshi's lips tightened into a thin line. It's a mixed bag, Captain. Some are offering trade agreements, technological exchanges, and even military alliances in exchange for exclusive access to the device. Others are making thinly veiled threats, warning of the consequences if we refuse to cooperate. Samantha felt a chill run down her spine. And what of the consortium of independent worlds? Have they made any further attempts to seize the device by force? Takeshi shook his head. Surprisingly, no. They've been uncharacteristically quiet since our last encounter. I suspect they're waiting to see how this diplomatic dance plays out before making their next move. Samantha's expression hardened. Then we'll have to be ready for anything. Coordinate with Eliza and the rest of the crew. I want the Horizon and the device under constant surveillance. We can't afford to let our guard down, not for a moment. Takeshi saluted sharply. Aye, Captain. I'll see to it. As Takeshi hurried off to carry out his orders, Samantha turned her attention to the holographic display that hovered before her. The faces of the various alien representatives stared back at her, their expressions a mix of curiosity, suspicion, and thinly veiled hostility. This is a delicate situation, Captain. Eliza Mendoza, the Horizon's chief scientist, said, her voice low and serious. We're dealing with powers that have been at each other's throats for generations. If we make the wrong move, the consequences could be catastrophic. Samantha nodded, her gaze never leaving the display. I'm aware of the risks, Eliza, but we have to try. The fate of the galaxy may very well hang in the balance. Eliza's brow furrowed. What exactly do you have in mind, Captain? Samantha took a deep breath, her expression resolute. I'm going to propose a plan, one that could change the course of history. As the representatives gathered in the Horizon's conference room, Samantha stepped forward, her chin held high. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming. I know that the stakes are high, and the tensions are palpable, but I believe I have a solution that could benefit us all. The room fell silent, all eyes locked on the human captain. Samantha took a deep breath and continued. The seventh dimensional device we've discovered is a remarkable and powerful technology. Its potential to reshape the very fabric of the galaxy is undeniable, but it is also a technology that could be easily misused, with catastrophic consequences. She paused, letting her words sink in. That's why I'm proposing a plan to share this technology with all of you, not as a means of gaining a strategic advantage, but as a way to work together, to usher in a new era of cooperation and scientific advancement. A murmur of surprise and disbelief swept through the room. Kordak, the leader of the consortium of independent worlds, leaned forward, his eyes narrowed. And what exactly do you expect in return, Captain Briggs? Samantha met his gaze, unflinching. Nothing, Kordak. We're not asking for anything in return. This technology is too powerful to be wielded by any single faction. It belongs to the galaxy as a whole. The room erupted in a cacophony of voices, some expressing shock and disbelief, others cautiously intrigued. Samantha held up her hand, silencing the din. I know this is a radical proposal, but I believe it's the only way to ensure that the seventh dimensional device is used for the betterment of all. We can't afford to let it fall into the wrong hands, or the consequences could be catastrophic. The representatives fell silent, their expressions a mix of contemplation and uncertainty. Samantha knew that the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance, and she was willing to take the risk, no matter the cost. The Horizon's bold proposal had sent shockwaves through the galaxy, shattering centuries-old rivalries and sparking a new era of cooperation and scientific advancement. Captain Samantha Briggs watched with a mixture of pride and trepidation as the representatives of the major alien factions worked tirelessly to harness the power of the seventh dimensional device. The progress has been remarkable, Captain, Eliza Mendoza reported, her eyes shining with excitement. Once the initial mistrust and suspicion were overcome, the various civilizations have been collaborating in ways we never thought possible. Samantha nodded, a rare smile tugging at the corners of her lips. It's heartening to see, Eliza. I must admit I had my doubts, but the crew's commitment to this plan has been truly inspiring. Eliza's expression turned pensive. The implications of what we've achieved here are staggering, Samantha. With the seventh dimensional technology at our fingertips, the possibilities for scientific and cultural exchange are truly limitless. Samantha's gaze drifted towards the holographic display, where the various factions were carefully coordinating their efforts to integrate the device's power into their respective societies. And what of the potential risks, Eliza? Surely there must be concerns about the misuse of this technology. Eliza's brow furrowed. Of course, there are always risks, but the representatives have agreed to stringent safeguards and oversight protocols to ensure the responsible development and application of the seventh dimensional principles. Samantha nodded, her expression thoughtful. Good. I'm relieved to hear that. The last thing we need is for this incredible discovery to be used for destructive ends. Takeshi Nakamura, the Horizon's navigation officer, approached the two women, his face alight with excitement. Captain, Doctor, you're not going to believe this. The first successful seventh-dimensional hyperjump has just been completed. Samantha's eyes widened. Hyperjump? You mean they figured out how to harness the device for interstellar travel? Takeshi nodded enthusiastically. Yes, Captain. The consortium's research team has managed to create a stable seventh-dimensional conduit that allows for instantaneous transit between star systems. The implications are, well, I can scarcely imagine the impact it will have on the entire galaxy. Eliza's expression mirrored Takeshi's excitement. This is a game changer, Samantha. With the ability to traverse the galaxy in a matter of moments, the barriers that have long divided our civilizations will crumble. We're on the cusp of a new era of cooperation and cultural exchange. Samantha felt a surge of pride and trepidation. Then we must ensure that this power is used responsibly, Eliza. The temptation to exploit it for personal gain or military advantage will be great, and we can't afford to let that happen. Eliza nodded, her expression sobering. Agreed, Captain. The representatives have already begun drafting a comprehensive set of guidelines and protocols to govern the use of seventh-dimensional technology. We'll be working closely with them to ensure that every precaution is taken. Takeshi cleared his throat, his expression suddenly uncertain. There is one other matter, Captain, that bears mentioning. Samantha turned to face him, her brow furrowed. What is it, Lieutenant? Well, it seems that not everyone is thrilled with the idea of this newfound cooperation and technological exchange. Takeshi admitted, his gaze shifting uncomfortably. We've detected rumblings of dissent and unrest among some of the more radical factions in the galaxy. Samantha felt a chill run down her spine. Elaborate, Takeshi. It appears that there are elements within the consortium, as well as some of the more isolationist civilizations, who see the seventh-dimensional technology as a threat to their power and influence. Takeshi explained, his voice grim. They're becoming increasingly vocal in their opposition to the plan, and there are concerns that they may resort to drastic measures to derail the entire process. Samantha's jaw tightened. Then we must be vigilant, Takeshi. The fate of the galaxy may very well hang in the balance. Coordinate with Eliza and the rest of the crew. I want the Horizon and the seventh dimensional device under the highest possible security protocols. Takeshi saluted sharply. Aye, Captain. We'll be ready for whatever comes our way. As Takeshi hurried off to carry out his orders, Samantha turned to Eliza, her expression grave. This is a delicate situation, Eliza. We've come so far, but the road ahead is fraught with peril. Eliza nodded, her eyes narrowing with determination. I know, Samantha, but we've come too far to turn back now. The galaxy is poised on the brink of a new era of cooperation and scientific advancement, and we can't afford to let it slip through our fingers. Samantha took a deep breath, her resolve hardening. Then we'll do whatever it takes to protect it, Eliza. The future of the galaxy depends on it. The galaxy had been forever transformed by the Horizon's discovery of the seventh dimensional device. What had once been a patchwork of competing civilizations, each vying for power and influence, had now blossomed into a vibrant tapestry of cooperation and scientific advancement. Captain Samantha Briggs watched with a sense of wonder as the various alien factions worked in tandem, harnessing the power of the device to reshape the very fabric of reality. The barriers that had long divided the galaxy had crumbled, and in their place, a new era of cultural exchange and technological innovation had taken root. It's truly remarkable, Samantha, Eliza Mendoza, the Horizon's chief scientist, said, her eyes shining with awe. The seventh dimensional technology has unlocked possibilities we scarcely even dared to dream of. Samantha nodded, a rare smile gracing her features. Indeed, Eliza, the progress we've made in such a short span of time is nothing short of astonishing. She turned her gaze to the holographic display, where a dizzying array of information flowed and danced. The applications of this technology are endless: interstellar travel, terraforming, communication, and so much more. It's as if the very limits of what's possible have been pushed aside. Eliza's expression turned pensive. And with that power comes great responsibility, Samantha. We've seen the potential for misuse and conflict, and we must remain ever vigilant to ensure that the seventh dimensional technology is used for the betterment of all. Samantha nodded, her brow furrowing slightly. I know, Eliza. The representatives have worked tirelessly to establish a comprehensive system of protocols and oversight, but there are still those who seek to undermine our efforts. Takeshi Nakamura, the Horizon's navigation officer, approached the two women, his face alight with excitement. Captain, Doctor, I have some incredible news to share. Samantha turned to face him, her expression expectant. What is it, Takeshi? The first permanent seventh-dimensional outpost has just been established in the heart of the Andromeda cluster, Takeshi reported, his voice brimming with enthusiasm. It's a testament to the incredible progress we've made in harnessing the device's power and leveraging it for the benefit of the entire galaxy. Eliza's eyes widened. A permanent outpost. That's an enormous step forward. Just think of the implications. The ability to maintain a constant presence and facilitate unparalleled levels of collaboration and exchange. Samantha nodded, her expression mirroring Eliza's excitement. This is exactly the kind of breakthrough we've been hoping for, Takeshi. It's a clear sign that the galaxy is ready to embrace a new era of cooperation and innovation. Takeshi's smile widened. And that's not all, Captain. The representatives have also agreed to establish a permanent governing body to oversee the responsible development and application of seventh-dimensional technology. Samantha felt a surge of pride. That's excellent news, Takeshi. It will be crucial to have a centralized authority to ensure that the power of the device is not abused or misused. Eliza's expression turned thoughtful. A governing body, you say? I wonder who will be chosen to lead such an influential organization. Takeshi's gaze shifted slightly. Well, the representatives have unanimously agreed that the Horizon and its crew should play a central role in this new governing body. Samantha's eyes widened in surprise. Us? But why? Takeshi's expression softened. Because you and your crew were the ones who made this all possible, Captain. You were the ones who had the courage to take the first steps, to forge a path towards a new era of cooperation and scientific advancement. Eliza placed a hand on Samantha's shoulder, her eyes shining with pride. Takeshi's right, Samantha. The galaxy owes you and your crew a debt of gratitude that can never be fully repaid. Samantha felt a lump form in her throat, the weight of the responsibility suddenly bearing down on her. I don't know what to say. This is all so incredible, so overwhelming. Takeshi placed a reassuring hand on her arm. You don't have to say anything, Captain. Just know that we're all in this together. The Horizon's crew has become the shining beacon that has guided the galaxy towards a brighter future. Samantha took a deep breath, her expression hardening with resolve. Then we'll make sure that future is one worth fighting for, Takeshi. The galaxy has entrusted us with an incredible responsibility, and we can't afford to let them down. As the Horizon continued its journey, its crew at the forefront of the galactic renaissance, Samantha knew that the path ahead would be fraught with challenges and obstacles. But with the power of the seventh dimensional device at their fingertips and the unwavering support of their newfound allies, she was confident that they would overcome any adversity that stood in their way. The future of the galaxy was theirs to shape, and Samantha was determined to ensure that it would be a future of boundless possibility, of unparalleled cooperation and scientific achievement. Whatever lay ahead, the Horizon and its crew were ready to face it head-on, and to lead the galaxy into an era of unprecedented prosperity and progress.